So last weekend, one of our select players that joins us regularly, has been a previous player, was playing in town with his travel team, and my husband had been there most of the weekend at the ballpark anyway, and so I did the rare thing, and instead of mowing the lawn like I wanted to do with the Moon and Virgo, I went ahead and went with him to the ballpark to see the player, and we like his family a lot. So while I was sitting there, kind of zoned out a little bit, I had an epiphany. He had asked me to look at the charts for the tournament coming up this weekend because the last tournament I had predicted it was going to rain based on how Neptune affected Ballman and uh, the town name. So, and it did indeed rain out. But so I already had the charts pulled up, and while I was zoned out, I've been trying to find the asteroid for the actual team's name that we often use just by itself. Uh, they're the Yellow Jackets. So I had the town's name, and I had uh, an asteroid with yellow, and it had been on my mind. Find something for jackets. So I went in, pulled out my phone, and opened up one of my 40 some odd charts I keep running, and uh, found something. And when I plugged it in, oh boy, did it work. So jackets is Jakhete. And this is my husband's natal chart. Jacket sits at 2929 here. And this is important because not only we had that 0 degree new moon here last month, and then we had the 29-degree new moon, but transit chaos has been squaring his natal jacket. And the team has been going through all kinds of shifts and changes in players. Um, it's been kind of chaotic. And of course, Chiron here, transit Chiron's been going past as chaos. Chaos on the lower end is kind of crazy, and on the high end, it's your higher evolution. So he has a lot of learning with this. I already did a video about his spiritual path uh, as a baseball coach. So our town and era, which is one of the fates. Some people call it a curse. I don't believe in curses as much as I do karma balancing itself. Era and our town name sit across his Eri, which is another fate, and Lamea, which is grief, and that falls in his seventh house of other people, committed relationships, and his groups and organizations in Aquarius here. And, real close to his descendant axis and his ascendant. Um, it affects his self and his pride, being Leo. And of course, Leo rules children. But what these do is they make a square to his natal Mercury and Ballman conjunction here. And right across from it, transit Uranus has been going. It's almost exact again, opposite as Mercury, whether it's baseball or some other things we have going on, waiting to see. But Uranus has been going back and forth here with him for a while. So our town name by transit here is at 10:14. The other team 9:19. Like I said, he was there watching them earlier, the day before, and the other team's name connects to Pax to his IC and his midheaven. And you see here the sun had just crossed his midheaven. Let's see. I've looked at so many versions of the charts, I forget where everything is. He has a 29-degree destiny sitting here, conjunct his natal Gagnereau, and that connects to all the 29s that have been going on uh, in conjunct chaos here. And total blank again. So one of the most interesting things I had found with the jackets when I pulled it up was that the North Node was exactly conjunct uh, jackets. while it was in my head saying, look, look, look. I call them nudges. Uh, I'll show my natal chart in a little bit that shows how those nudges are affected by the transiting planets to your natal. But so, here they are at 4 degrees, and that connects here to his meta, which means beyond, uh, information from beyond, and that connects to his sun here at 5 degrees, south node. Let's see. His Jupiter at 455. Jupiter has been ruling his sports. He has Jupiter in the first house. He is a sports fanatic. Never thought I'd be so involved, but it's all good. But he's got Saturn. Transit Saturn has been going opposite that. So a lot of restrictions and, like getting rained out, a little more hard work and little lessons about the players coming and going. So transit meta from beyond and the player's name are opposite his Pluto and our county name. Now, Pluto, of course, is magic and astrology. They connect over here to his Neptune, to his Juno, Karma, our county name, still looking. They just crossed over his Chiron. Now, Chiron's not just our wounds and healing, it's also, um, Chiron was an accomplished astrologer. So, I've been showing him charts a lot. He didn't ever used to be interested, but I've been right a few times on things that I suspected. So anyway, so now that's in the 8th house, Pisces here, where spiritual connects to transit Ginky and to Arago, which is not only our house number, but also, that asteroid of things happening right on time, and the whole being able to prove it. All right, so the other team by transit was also crossed over his Ari here. Let's see, his name and nickname are conjunct 348 and 408. They're just about to go over his Saturn, so they're already in conjunction, and that connects to the North Node, South Node, and the jackets by transit here. That connects to his Jupiter here. My husband and I both have Jupiter square Sun. It makes us both overly generous, so that'll be in our comp chart. So yeah, there's a lot of his destiny is 29 degrees, Gagnereau 038. Atlantis and Juno were right across from those, Juno being soul contracts. I always put Atlantis in. There's a lot more of that I could, but all the big things in my life have connected to Atlantis. Let's see. Karma here is at 29 degrees by transit. That connects to his jackets, destiny. His Uranus is 2835. That's unexpected things, and also, the higher self, the creativity, higher purpose. And then, of course, transit chaos was 29 degrees. All right, so that's just a base of his natal chart. I'll move the cursor, so if anybody wants to study that closer, I'll move on to the next one. Now, this is his progressed chart, which your progressed chart is where you are, right at that time of the date that you put in. So for, it was April 30th, and because it was the evening, I went ahead and put it to May 1st. The minutes are always, you never know how fast the planets are moving. They all move at different rates. which is what makes this so fascinating, because for them all to line up like they do. Um, so my husband's progressed name and ballman and quirk are all here at 9 and 10 degrees, and thus connect to his progressed Juno, to his progressed our county's name, to, well, this Nessus here has been, he was directly last fall. His name was directly opposite Nessus. Nessus is the troublemaker, but he does have serve a higher purpose of healing. So just remember, everything has a higher and lower purpose, even though last fall was kind of rough. So anyway, we have his progressed nickname is at 10 degrees 27 minutes. His progressed Mars in 10:17. His progressed Vesta 10:14. And transit wise, we have the progressed Sun, not progressed Sun, the transit Sun. Mercury retrograding back to it. I believe that was exact yesterday when I was trying to do this and it just didn't work out. Cecilia said today's card was King of Cups, and that's the one I use when I read for my husband, so it worked out perfectly. Our town by transit was at 10 degrees, and that's opposite his progressed Mars. So we have a lot of 22s and 23s, and that would start with the player's name and meta beyond, and that connects to pacts, soul contracts, ergo, things happening right on time. Also, our house, he did invite them to come eat breakfast, but his phone wasn't working. Connects to our last name here at 21 degrees. Packs at 2041. His Pluto is directly opposite the player's name and meta. Pluto, of course, being astrology and magic. 22, 23s, we're looking here. Venus at 2240 here by transit. Sphinx, which is figuring out mysteries. I'm trying to add in more different asteroids as I do this. Sphinx, riddles and mysteries at 2336. His nodes are 22, 22 in his progress chart. That's a lot of twos there, you might notice, for his north node and south node, first and seventh house. So then in the 13s and 14s, his progressed ergo, things right on time, 1327. Progressed jackets at 1413. Had quirk by transit at 1415. And their opposite, transit ballman at 1425. The other team's name is in an inconjunct to ergo. In his, both of those are the progressed ones. The creativity is the fifth house, Aquarius. Of course, rules astrology, also groups and organizations you belong to, and the other team's name here is in the 12th house, which is a little more mystical. Our town name is at 15 degrees here, and that connects around everything within a few degrees of that. Let's see. Okay, Astro Wizard was conjunct Mars. But I'll get into that more. On my charts. Oh, Ginky, his progressed Ginky and part of fortune at 313 and 408 are trine to the north node in jackets. And I just happened to plug some asteroids into a chart I already had open, and it was the one that had that weird comment I can't find from the last video, for the invoice number, that 461164 palindrome. It was a 2015 TBZ. And that was the one that when I pulled it up, it was only the skull. So anyway, it just happened to also be at 449. And the comet, I assume it's a comet, is on his yellow. And our county name. Our county name is on his progressed yellow. His progressed sun is at 1 degree. That would connect all the zeros and 29s that we've been going through. It also directly connects to Atlantis by transit there. Let's see, his moon at 2858. At that time, it should be at least 29 something by now. It moves, the progressed moon moves pretty quickly. Would connect now to all the 29s. It also connects to transit Gagnereau here. He has Uranus in the 12th house, 29 degrees progressed. Gianna here, his progressed Gianna is 29 degrees. And there, Chaos is on his progressed Gianna. Everything in my circle, as well as his, it's been pretty crazy lately, but he knows that I've been charting it, and that's, that's Gianna's the charter. So, let's see, I'll move the cursor so all those things that I missed showing. Oh, that's what it was. Every time I think. The other team's name by transit was square to Uranus. So yeah, I'll move the cursor for a moment and move to the next. All right, this is our composite chart. This is the chart of the relationship itself by taking his chart and my chart, our natals, and putting them together. So the chart of the relationship itself. Now, in the first house, we have Astro Wizard at 2231 and Miller at 2244. Right now, Astro Wizard's about on there while I'm recording this, but those connect over here to Arago and Pax. Pax is exactly 2232, so just about to the Astro Wizard. Actually, it was retrograde, so it'd be going this direction. Let's see. Meta is here at 2244 in the 8th house. That's that magic metaphysical house. House of transformation. Aquarius that rules astrology and on the lower end, your organizations, future groups. So the player's name also connects to that here at 2324. That's conjunct Meta at 2329. And of course, that connects back to Ergo, things happening right on time. Pax, and to the composite Astro Wizard and Miller. It also connects to transit Venus at 2240. Sphinx Mysteries, 2336. And that pretty much knocked those out. Just about. All right, so here the composite Gianna is on our town's name at 16, almost 17 degrees. Let's see what else is interesting. I mean, it's all interesting. The sun was creating a square to Ginky here in the 8th. And in conjunct to our town's name. That would connect 1155 to the ball man in the 5th house. 5th house is your hobbies and pleasures, your creativity, Scorpio, power and control issues that we've been going through for years, and transformation. So our last name was exactly by transit on the composite ascendant. And that's connected here to the player's name in the second house, Leo. One of our favorite kids. I mean, they're all our favorites, but you know, it's been fun. We do enjoy this. All right, so the most interesting thing, our composite jackets turns out to be here with our composite Saturn in Taurus, 11th house. 11th house rules your groups and organizations. Uh, Taurus, you know, security, stability. Um, we've had it's your assets. We've put a lot of personal money into the coaching. And the North Node and jackets here are here right at the Saturn and jackets. Saturn is also the Lord of Karma, they call it. That connects to Transit Discover here at 349 on the Composite Sphinx Mysteries. Connects to the Pax at 544. Gianna by transits at 201, opposite Atlantis. That connects, no, that's to the husband's name here at 151. And to the Mercury, which rules the communities, young children, thoughts, communications, in Aquarius. And it connects to our Chiron in the 10th house. As I said, Chiron is also a astrologer. Here, my husband's nickname and my husband's name are here at the Chiron. We have all the 29s and all the zeros. Our composite Atlantis here in the 7th house is opposite transit Astro Wizard. Trying to remember what other wonderful things I saw. The part of fortune here is conjunct the composite Karma at 24, 25 degrees. That would connect to the Ergo Pax, to the player's name, Meta, Jupiter, Sphinx. Well, Jupiter would be opposite. Has gone that. Jupiter rules the sports, of course, but also your spiritual path. Sphinx connects. I already said that. Bear with me. It connects to the yellow. Our county name by transit. The team name is another one of those 3 4s. In our first house, that's the other team that we were there to see. All right. I'll move the cursor and you can further study it. Brain's slowing down on me. Another thing before I move on to the next chart, our midheaven and our IC are 0 degrees. And you see our moon sits right here. Our last name, our vertex, and our Neptune are all 29 degrees. So that connects to all the 29 and 0 degree energy that we've been having. Like I said, we have a lot going on in our life and a lot more yet to unfold. So I'm going to move on to the next chart, our Progressed Composite. So the Progressed Composite is our relationship now. And right here, we have Sphinx, mysteries and riddles, right here on our midheaven. Jackets is also conjunct the midheaven. The husband's nickname, Ginky, and the North Node, all here 7th house Pisces. Opposite our town name at 949. I kind of etched it out accidentally. And the South Node with our town transit on that, so opposite that. We have a 29-degree Venus. Let's see, let me take a break here and scan again. Gagnereau sits at the Neptune in the Progressed Composite, has just entered into Sagittarius. Ballman is conjunct the Progressed part of Fortune here. Oh, let's see. The husband's nickname and husband's name. Still conjunct, almost conjunct the Chiron and the Jupiter. Alright, anyway, let's go back to Transit Atlantis here. And Discovery over yellow. Like I said, I knew I had the yellow and I knew I had the town name. The jacket was still bugging me that I didn't have that one yet. The player's name here would connect to Transit Gianna down here. And remember, the transit player name would connect to the husband's name here. Where was he at? Right here, by sextile, positive sextile to meta and player to the husband's name. Neptune at 2644 has been opposite our Pluto. Astro Wizard at 221 also connects to Gianna here at 201. Our last name's another one of those 10s. So that would make a T-square here. The closest thing to finish that is Sphinx. Anyway, Sphinx is connected to transit our last name. Of course, to our town. To the other team here. Mystical 12th house. The Progressed Atlantis connects to the Progressed Chaos. Progressed Jackets. Let's see, is there anything absolutely amazing here? I'm sure. Just missing out. The Progressed Juno is connecting here to the Progressed Transit Venus, excuse me, into Transit Astro Wizard. Into Jackets in the Sphinx in Midheaven. Transit, the other team's name here, connects to our part of Fortune and Ballman. Like I said, he was there watching before that, knew about the game being there. So 1831, the planets move this way by transit, unless they're retrograde. And then the transit Chiron also connects to the Ballman and part of Fortune. Uranus is still quite opposite it. All right, Jupiter here is connecting by sextile to the Discovery, as well as to the Pluto, all at 26 degrees. Astro Courier, or Progressed Astro Courier is 2745. All right. Anyway, move the cursor. You can look at that one. I still have a few more. This one's going to be a little bit confusing. I just put it up for anyone that might want to see. You know, you can do a natal and progress chart together with transits. The asteroids don't transfer over by transit. But when I was looking at the natal and the progressed, I saw some matchups in the numbers. You know, it's the patterns that always catch my eye and the exact numbers. So I went ahead and took a lot of work, but I put together the regular composite and a progressed with transits. And I saw, first of all, that karma at 2846 here, that's the progressed karma, and the progressed ascendant are sextile to one another, 2841, 2846. And that also connects to the husband on the progressed descendant. I think that's our composite husband's name, yeah, on the progressed descendant, and that also connects to the composite Mars, and all those are at 28, almost 29 degrees. So of course that ties into all the 29 and 0 degrees. Then you have the transit sun here, 10 degrees. I had highlighted from the other chart that I'd already used, so it connects all around too. But what I did was the red is in progressed, the black is the original composite, and the green is the transit. That's how it's traditionally done on Astrodienst when you do a natal to progressed. All right, this is getting pretty long, but this is my natal chart for that day, and I've got it a little offset here. I can see it. Why is it offset? Try this. There we go. So now I gotta use my glasses a little bit more. So what this is my natal chart, but I added in a whole bunch of new things just to kind of explore them. More of my natal placements, and I also added in the blue are some of my midpoints because they always come into play with all the different transits. Uh, and then, of course, we have all the different transiting planets here on the outside. So bear with me here. Most of the ones I put in my natal, I also put here with the transits, but not all of them. So one of the first things I want to point out is my husband's nickname sits here at my Jupiter midheaven. Now, of course, Jupiter rules sports. It rules our spiritual path, and it's in the ninth house, which is, higher learning and ruled by Jupiter. So the Jupiter midheaven and my husband's name are conjunct here. Transit Serendip was right here too. That's your synchronicities. My Serendip sits just inside my first house past my ascendant. And what's very interesting is my jacket here at 807. Aura was transiting on that. My natal jacket sits with Neverland, and I'm laughing because I call my husband the king of the 12-year-olds. He has just really found his groove playing baseball with the kids, and it amazes him that they look up to him as a role model. And so he's like Peter Pan leading the Lost Boys. So the jackets conjunct Neverland is pretty funny. But what's really amazing is the jackets connects to my husband's nickname Jupiter Midheaven and Serendip here. It connects by what's 108 degrees, which is maybe it was my husband. All right, so one of these, either my husband's nickname or my husband, I forget now, but was 108 degrees, which is a Tredicile. Tredicile. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Tredecile. And that is a circumstance that presents itself that perfectly fits a unique gift or need. Serendipity. Uh, Serendipity was actually the name of one of my favorite books in the first grade. It was about a big purple Loch Ness monster. Um, Fell in love with that book. Anyway, and that description comes from Robert Wilkinson from the Aquarius Papers. I had found that online. And I'm kind of embarrassed now that I forget which one it was. I'm pretty sure it's this one. So, that being said, my natal ball man is at 3 degrees 48 minutes. My husband's name was at 3 degrees 48 minutes that night. And of course, his nickname real close to it. The nodes in jackets, north node in jackets, was at 4 degrees 2 minutes and 4:26, opposite my ball man, with the south node having just crossed it. Discovery was at 3 degrees 49 minutes in a sextile to my husband's name, with jackets in the north node in the middle. And then, of course, connecting over here, just off by 1 minute to my natal ball man. That also connects to my north and south nodes at 3 degrees 20 minutes. So, wow. Talk about your Arago right on time. Speaking of Arago, my natal Arago sits across from Babylon, which connects quite frequently to astrology, and to my Delphi. It's only 2 minutes off from my Delphi, which is an oracle. And Angel was sitting there, conjunct Delphi. Not sure where they all are. Oh, here's Delphi right here, 10 degrees 35 minutes, and that would connect it to the sun. 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be an inconjunct, as I said before, karmic timing. And the sun was shining on my Chiron ascendant, midpoint, 11:25 here. Let's see, Babylon is at 17:51 in Sagittarius. I had crossed over my Uranus midheaven, midpoint. Connects to my Gagnereau and Aureola. Aureola is another of the psychic asteroids. I use it for my dog too because he's Oreo. But anyway, so we have that connection there as well. Now, my Siva is conjunct my Neptune midheaven exact, and Eri is just a few minutes off in the 8th house. That's that magic house. Now, Siva rules Kali. Siva stands for destruction of preconceived ideas. My Kali here at 5:45 sits near my vertex, and it connects to my Saturn ascendant and my Mars ascendant midpoints. Okay, so the only reason I'm really going over all of this is because of the nudge. I'm trying to explain how the nudges show up. I've seen it many times with all the different magical synchronicities I've had over the last few years. Let's see. So transit Pallas was at 29 degrees. Transit Isis at 0 degrees. My natal Pallas is at 15 degrees, which will connect to the eclipse here in Scorpio. It's in my first house. And it sits real close to my Celestia, Urania, and Protogenia. All right. And those, of course, connect up here to my Aurelia, which is another oracle, and connects to my Ginky, Chiron, Eris, all those fun things by a nice sextile. So my Isis sits here at my 12th house Venus, and Era one of the fates, also sits here. Sphinx had just crossed over it. Kali was connected. It was actually conjunct transit Venus at my angel and near my sun-moon midpoint. My sun-moon midpoint actually occurs on June 16th, which is the birthday of two of my friends that have really helped me along with my charting learning. So there's a plus to that. Just an interesting coincidence. Let's see, where were we going? Hell in a handbasket. So, all right, what do we got? My natal aura sits at 29 degrees. My karma sits at 29 degrees, along with my Neowise, New Wisdom, and my mother, Patricia Ann. Um, Sorry, it's just so crazy. And of course, I have a 29-degree husband named Serendip. Pluto just retrograded back over it. Transit karma is at 29 degrees. My Atlantis is at 29 degrees, and it forms an inconjunct to my karma. My favorite description of the inconjunct is the idiot savant. When I first started this, I was seeing things and I didn't even understand. I was just barely learning astrology, and I started making connections. So, anyway, yeah, idiot savant, magician's assistant, apprentice, didn't know what he's doing. So I've been learning over the years. Siva here connects to our last name. The other team here by transit connects to the player that he sits here at my IC, but just on the third house side, which is the community and young children and what else? Oh, it's so easy to get so confused. See what other asteroids I can explain that I may have added in. Juno, Atlantis, Angel, Babylon, Delphi, Neverland, Serendip, Celestia, Uranus. Bear with me here. Hecate at 8:06 was connecting to my Vesta. It sits here at 8:47. Vesta was at 6:55, connecting to my Sun and to my Jupiter. I've got to remember I color coded all this to help me out. Yay! So, my natal spirit sits at my Uranus, and that connects to my Uranus midheaven. And Uranus, by transit at 1826, was making a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quincunx to my Uranus midheaven midpoint that Babylon had just retrograded back over. It also connects to the yellow. And Spirit was at 1806, approaching my yellow. Chiron at 1719 here. Any more of those? No. All right, so we'll go with my moon here. You know, I said the moon was in Virgo. And when I get emotional, I want to work, and that's why I was going to mow. So the moon had crossed over my moon. Our town was near it. It connects to my Juno here, which is conjunct our town within 2 degrees. And it connects here to the Siva, Neptune, Midheaven, and Eri. To my Hecate and Meta. To my Chiron, Saturn, Midheaven, Midpoint. And of course to my Mercury and Eris. Eris is discord for positive change. Gets kind of crazy with Jupiter having been conjunct Eris. I don't have it here, but Jupiter was exactly conjuncted on my chaos. this past week. It was interesting. So let's see. Of course, the Sun and Mercury retrograde and my Chiron ascendant midpoint are all here, connecting to that. Aurelia at 11 degrees on my serendip. Our last name connects to that. That takes me around the circle. Oh, there's a one I forgot to highlight, I think. The Aureola by transit connects to my Pallas and to my Hecate and to my Aurelia, Ginky, and Mercury, Eris. Anything else I have around the 14-15 area. All right, so you kind of get an idea. I'll move the cursor. We won't even go any further with that, I don't think. I'll run through this one pretty quickly. It's getting very long. This is my progressed chart. Our county name is conjunct my progressed ascendant, opposite my, let's see, is that transit Ginky? Yeah, transit Ginky sitting on my progressed descendant. And that would connect to my transit Gagnereau here, sitting at my progressed part of fortune, which is opposite Neptune, and connects to Jupiter here, connects to my progressed sun. Okay, then I said we had Astro Wizard and Mars were conjunct here at 19 degrees in 2042. That connects to transit Uranus. It connects to the team's name, my transit, to my karma. This is my progressed karma here. Interesting to note, Pluto had crossed over my progressed north node over the last few months, and the moon was recently conjunct my south node opposite my north node. That's when things really started picking up, but I started really charting, and I've been having a lot of dreams again that are about other things I'm not ready to discuss, but very interesting when I go and chart those as well. A little more answers have been coming to me. So we got Pax here. My progressed Pax is opposite Meta and the player's name by transit. It connects to my progressed Chaos, which is opposite my progressed Ballman, which connects to Arago and Pax here. Transit Ballman was actually here on my IC. Like I said, I went to the ballpark. It's been the first time forever. And that connects to the transiting moon and to my progressed Ginky in our county here, which also would, no, that's a 9. Losing my mind. It's all right. The sun here connects to my progressed husband's name and my progressed husband's nickname. Connected here to my progressed Gagnereau. Now, my husband's nickname is opposite my progressed discovery. And that would also connect to my progressed husband's name, progressed yellow. I have a progressed Atlantis conjunct Mercury here. It connects to my progressed Saturn, progressed Astro Wizard, our last name had crossed over my progressed team name. You see here my Mars and my Venus. They've been running together for a while I've been trying to figure all this out and how to present it and get comfortable with coming out with these things. So those are at 307 and 320, which is, that's my north node and south node natal. And that connects to discovery by transit here to the north node in jackets, south node, my husband's name and nickname here, Gianna would connect to that also because it's going this way retrograde. Let's see what else is wonderful and fantastic. I mean, all of it is really, really interesting. Chaos here is opposite my progressed our last name. That connects to my progressed Ergo, my progressed Pluto. So yeah, that's that. We'll move to the next one. And just to show that I do understand the concept to anyone that questions, this is my natal and progressed charts together. And I edited in all of the transiting planets. This time I did it a little backwards though from how Astro does it because I wasn't redoing everything. When you do the natal and progress, the progressed comes out in green. So I just put their transits in red this time. So you can see I have a lot highlighted here where things match up. Now the inside is my natal chart. The green on the outside is the progressed. You see that, of course, Jupiter is near it, but the outer planets move a little slower, I do believe. Um, my progressed meta has my husband's name and nickname conjunct it, which is opposite my progressed our town and Juno. Those are conjunct now, which connects to transit discovery, Atlantis, all near my natal Saturn, and then the progressed Saturn is conjunct the natal jackets and everything else that I had mentioned in my natal chart that was here, Neverland. Um, my progressed Mars and Venus, of course, connect to my nodes, South Node and North Node, to my anti-vertex and vertex, connects to my natal ball man. Let's see, 307 and 320 is a trine to that. Let's see, transit South Node being there had crossed over my vertex. Oh, but a bomb. Progressed Neptune's at 405. So that connects to the nodes and to our town and meta and all that fun stuff around 4 degrees. Let's see the progressed transits and natal. Yeah, I even confused myself looking at this. I got to keep looking at my little key here for the red transits and the which ones is which. My progressed husband is near my meta here. My progressed midheaven at 1434 is just past my Ginky and near my Aurelia. My progressed Chiron is near my Aurelia. Progressed Ginky is almost exactly opposite my natal part of fortune. My progressed Sun is in conjunct our last name. Our progressed my last name is a 29 degree. So that connects to all the 29 and 0 degree energies. Let's see, is there anything else really fascinating? Progressed ascendant here at 26 would also connect to our last name. That 2755 South Node and 2859 progressed moon. They also would connect then to my Atlantis and Karma. Because they're just going to keep kicking along forward. Let's see, Progressed Jackets sits here on my natal Sphinx, 101 and 110. All right. Well, I think we're approaching an hour. You can look at this, and this was the last chart. So if you're still here or danced through your way through and see where everything lines up, I hope I was able to explain some of how I do this. Um, Thanks for watching.